Hey guys, here is Yi. Today I'm going to do a food haul on Chinese cooking. So everything in my kitchen I'm using to cook Chinese food. Right now I have almost 100 videos now, and I have been doing YouTube videos for almost 7-8 months now. From the first video I uploaded until now, I have a little bit over 200 subscribers, and I realized recently I have been doing videos almost every day, and I've been cooking almost every day, but many of my videos are not getting enough views, so around 20 to 50 views per video. When you're calculating that, I'm getting about on average 2 subscribers per video, and it started getting a bit tiring, and I just feel like I'm cutting myself and burning myself all the time while cooking. So I thought maybe I'm just doing it different way by posting a bit less cooking videos, a bit more of other things like vlog, and for example today on food haul, hopefully I'll be able to find my way, and you guys will also enjoying watching it. So just a little bit on what I'm talking about today. It's all about Chinese cooking. You all know I'm Chinese, and my mom cook only Chinese food. So in our household we cook about I would say 50%, a bit less, 40% of Chinese food, and a bit of everything the rest. And you will see I use lots of different sauces and ingredients for cooking Chinese food. And I realized after about a year since we moved here to this apartment, my kitchen is totally full because I have so many different things in the kitchen, and I thought I just clean it up and then just take this chance to show you guys what I use, which brand, and what are those things and how you can use them. And most of my stuff coming from the Asian supermarket here in Karlsruhe, and I'll write your name and address in the description. And the price here is on average a bit higher than when I was living in Australia, obviously, and the variety is definitely a lot less. But with all that limitation, I'm still be able to cook lots of Chinese food. There is no fresh ingredients, so all the sauces and the flour, starch, you can just keep them like forever. And here I can start from the sauce first. And you all probably seen I use very often. Here is a dark soy sauce, and this is from Li Jingji. Many people probably don't know what's the difference between dark soy sauce and the light soy sauce. Here I also have my light soy sauce somewhere here. Okay, so I have a different brand for light soy sauce. And this brand is called Haitian. So actually my mom also used this brand in China, and when I was living in Australia I used Li Jingji as well. So it doesn't really matter because they both pretty high quality soy sauce. And I like to use light soy sauce for stir frying, just give it a little bit salty taste. When you bruise meat, or you want to cook meat very long and give it nicely brown color, then you use dark soy sauce. But it's really intensive. Like you put a little bit in, and it's a really thick sauce, and you get this really dark color of your food. So these both are really common, like for Chinese. The other day in the Chinese supermarket, I saw some German girls who also kind of went in just to have a look at what's there in this Asian supermarket. And she said she's using soy sauce every day, and I couldn't imagine like a German girl's using soy sauce every day. And the other thing here I have is oyster sauce. This is also from Li Jingji. And I only get a small bottle always because I don't use that often. And most of the time it's for Cantonese cookings, and it has it's really like a bit seafood smell, like fishy, but it's not really from seafood. It's actually vegetarian, I believe, but when you go to the shops right now, they also sell vegetarian oyster sauce or gluten-free oyster sauce. I don't think it's really has much difference, probably just to give people a bit more varieties, but the inside is probably the same content. And I also use lots of vinegar here. Is brand, it's used everywhere in China as well. It's from Zhenjiang, so it's 镇江香醋. And this is like from rice or grains at least. And I generally use these kind of brown vinegar a lot more than white vinegar because it's just natural sour taste, and it's also very healthy. I remember when I was in primary school in China, they always do a regular cleaning of the classroom, and they also use this kind of vinegar. If you believe it or not, they use the vinegar to kind of steam the room to kill bacteria and the germs, and I hope it worked. And here is cooking wine or cooking liquor. I use it very often for cooking meat, fish, or anything which has the like stinky smell or taste. It's just a little bit of alcohol, it's like when you cooking French food, you adding red wine or white wine, or cooking Japanese food, putting sake, or Korean food, putting rice liquor, I believe. It's kind of similar function. And also it has a sweet taste. If you get a good quality one, you can pretty much drink it. And in China, you see they heat up this kind of liquor. It's called 绍兴酒. It's a brownish, darker color, but sweet. And they will warm this up and drink it like a warm liquor. So here are about all the big bottles. And here, sesame oil. I use it for salad very often. This is really not cheap here for a small bottle, but I don't use that much, so I don't really stir fry anything with sesame oil. Only for salad, and this is super healthy, like the best oil you can get maybe after olive oil. And here I also have some smaller glass bottles. Here you probably all know it's fermented tofu, and my parents can have like a whole this big glass in a week. They can finish this in a week because it's a perfect side dish for congee, and it's like breakfast. Yeah, people eat salty congee for breakfast in China. And here I have cha shao jiang, or Chinese barbecue sauce. It's also from Li Jingji, and I only use a couple of times. You can, not just for pork, you can also marinate this for chicken, for beef. It's pretty much a sweet sauce, so you don't need to add in any other things anymore, just this kind of pre-made sauce, then cook it, it's done. Okay, then here I realize I have lots of different powdered things. So I have this brown sugar. This is super healthy for women, and you can make this with tea or milk, adding this with some sweet soupy things like I don't know if you know about white mushrooms, like white fungus, and it's super healthy to cook with a bit of dates and then with this kind of brown sugar. Here it says it can also use for different desserts or jellies or ginger soup. And I bought this for quite a long time, but still have a lot left over. And here I also have a yellow rock sugar. And in China, very often you see it's like a white crystal sugar. And this sugar, it's a bit, it's harder and solid. And also for cooking, you can see it's like a big rock. And you have to break them up to cook it. So here the two sugar obviously also have regular cast sugar, so I don't have to show you that. And here come to all my powder. Tapioca powder. You can use it also for cooking, but I generally use it for desserts. And this one is from Thailand. Okay, this is only one tapioca powder, the brand I find it here. And here I have some, see I used a lot already, mung bean or green bean starch. You can use this for dessert. I know some Thailand dishes also use this, but I use this just to make this kind of jelly noodle. I have a cooking video on that as well. And here, this is a new discovery. So I think this is from Vietnam. This makes this kind of rice, transparent rice skin. You can roll it and to make some other dishes. I think it's kind of Cantonese food, but it's my favorite dish when you have dim sum or yum cha. I don't know how you call it, but either way. And the traditional way is to you roll a dough. You use normal flour. You roll a dough and you wash that dough, and the leftover water you can steam it, and then it will work the same way like this flour. Hopefully that's why I bought it. And the leftover of the dough is also good for stir fry. And so this one, I have to test this flour, but I just bought it as well. And more here is a sticky rice, or you call it glutino. Is it? A sticky rice starch. This is the best ingredients for mochi or sticky rice cake, sticky rice balls, many different Asian desserts. This go also with this powder starch. This is from rice, so it's rice powder. Very often you mix them those two, and you make something amazingly tasty. And here also a bit of potato starch. This is very often used in cooking, stir frying, to make the sauce thicker or make your meat tender. So here pretty much all the powder-ish stuff I have. Okay, so it's quite a lot. How many I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 different kind of powder. I don't know if this is normal in regular household, but I use this sticky rice powder recently very often, and use potato starch also very often. But this is just things I use every day, really. And here also a bit on the variety of rice I have at home. So yesterday I just bought a whole new bag rice, and this is Basmati. That's only because my husband likes this kind of rice. And in China you get this kind of short grain rice, not this kind of longer one. But like nowadays people eating every kind of rice, like jasmine. Is it jasmine? Yeah, it's kind of from Thailand. It's also really long corns, a bit a stronger fragrance, but yeah, I don't really have any preference on rice because to me the rice tastes pretty much the same, not like other Chinese I assume. So here I also have sushi rice. So this is only for sushi. You can see it's kind of short-grained, really small corn. So these are for sushi. And I also have sticky rice. So these are also good for desserts, like sticky rice, mango sticky rice, or you can cook the sticky rice with short ribs, barbecue ribs. So many use of it. Then come to the beans I have. So I have soybeans, and to make a soybean milk with this. You can cook soybean with pork feet, soybean with right now I have nothing in my mind, but you can cook this, either cook this or make soybean milk with this. And I also have white beans. These are also good for soup. This is actually from a Turkish shop. I have some red beans. So they're really red. And I have been looking for green beans, mung beans, forever in Karlsruhe, but seems like they don't exist here. With this kind of mung beans, you can just grow your own bean sprouts, but I'm still looking for it. So that's all the beans. Oh, and I have here 豆豉, preserved beans. So it's also for Cantonese food, for meat. It has a really strong, like something went bad, really bad. But it's also salty, so it's good for cooking meat. You can see they're like just dark black beans and they're soft. The other day we saw black garlics, so it's also preserved garlic, and they're selling for €8 for 100 gram. Is it?
I think so.
Yeah. So super expensive.
What was it?
Preserved garlic.
Oh, 50 gram.
50 grams, so €8 for 50 grams. That's crazy. Maybe I can just preserve myself. And but here you have to have one in the kitchen. This is sesame paste. It also has a bit of oil on top, so sesame paste with oil. And it's the best dipping sauce for hot pot. If you are Chinese, you probably use sesame paste for your dipping sauce. But if you're not, probably just use vinegar. That's also good. And here's pretty much the sauce and the powder and the beans I have. So, and here is now come to all the dry ingredients. So I have a small pack here. These like really last forever. So don't really have to worry about them going bad. Here, if you know if it's a bit too bright, but anyway, this is Sichuan peppercorn mixed with salt. In Chinese, it's called 椒盐. So if you're lazy, just drop in a few, and it tastes amazing. And it's also good when you cook ribs, short ribs, or shrimps, or chicken. Pretty much, it's called 椒盐. So 椒盐, chicken, 椒盐, ribs. And it's one of my favorite, but I brought this in China. So this one. And Then you definitely have to have your own sichuan peppercorns. Like if you like this kind of spicy, numbing spiciness. And when I cook Sichuan food, definitely 100% have to use this. And the more you put in it, then it's more addictive. I have to say it's very addictive. And dry chili. This is like a really bad quality chili you can get here. It's supposed to be really dry, but still fresh red color and really pumped. Here it's just really sad and dry, but that's all you can get here in Germany. And I also use quite a lot, because when you get fresh chili, they go bad really quickly. But if you use dry chili, tastes as good and lasts forever. And here are just some other things. When you bruise meat, have to use this. So star anise, a bit of cloves. Is it for cloves? Yeah. And this is not only for Chinese food. Like Germans also use this for cooking meat, but Chinese use it as well. And here are some fennel seeds. So this is from like Indian supermarket. To use this as well. When Chinese cook meat, when they bruise meat, they could use up to 20-30 different kind of spices. And here are just the ones that I use very often. And there are some ones that could even be medicine, Chinese medicine, and it's impossible to get it here. But here are the ones I use. And cinnamon stick, you believe or not, use this for meat. Dry ginger, and I only use once to make my 5 spices powder, but I assume you can use this for also for cooking meat or braised meat. And if you don't want all those bags, and they really have a huge amount, so it takes ages to use, you can just get this kind of pre-made. It goes in like these small bags. So when you braise meat, you can just pop in one, put in the water, so it includes all the spices you need to braise meat. This one I bought from Taiwan, and it's probably 10 cents. And it says it can use for chicken, pork, beef, tofu, seaweed, and even eggs. So it has, let me see, it has like 8 different kind of spices inside of this pouch. You can just use it probably only once, but it's really convenient. So I would recommend, if you're going to visit Asian countries, try to look for these pre-made spices, and they are pretty good. And also I have a bag of a white pepper powder, and you can use this to add in meat soup, or when you were cooking, for example, fish soup, can also use this. And it's just really fine. So you get this spicy taste, but you wouldn't eat chili, like literally, or eating pepper literally. So it just gives it a lot more flavor. And I also have yeast. I guess it's in China. I believe in the US you can get self-raising flour. So it has like yeast and baking powder inside already. It's really convenient, but in Germany you can only get the baking powder or yeast separately. So you have to make your own self-raising flour, and you can make steamed dumplings. When you get this fluffy bumps, it's all use yeast to make. So that's why I keep some and hoping I could have time to make a cooking video on how to make Chinese steamed buns. And that's all the spices I have. And I keep them in a plastic container because I use them very often. And in China, before you're using all those dry ingredients, you probably need garlic, ginger, spring onions. These three I use very often too. And occasionally I add in chili, dry chili. And when you cook Sichuan food, definitely Sichuan peppercorns. These peppercorns with 豆瓣酱. So pretty much all Sichuan dishes have these two ingredients, and the Sichuan peppercorns give you a bit numbing spiciness, and 豆瓣酱 it's really a kind of complicated spiciness and saltiness combined together. So this two I have always in my fridge. And when you cook in northern Chinese food, sometimes even Korean food use it as well. They use 甜面酱, which is kind of sweet and salty paste, and that's also very common. And so yes, here are the sauces, the spices, the beans and rice. So quite a lot of things I'm keeping and storing, but the essential things are the soy sauce, vinegar, and Chinese cooking wine. I believe I used pretty much everything, all of them all the time and very frequently. And besides of that, I also have lots of dry things. So they are also last forever and they're dried very often. Like for example, this kind of dry mushrooms. When you want to have them, just need to dry them with boiling water, and they're ready to use right away. And here another thing. My mom actually brought this from China, so this is like a whole bag of spices with chilies, everything inside. And this one is for 水煮鱼. I believe most of them you know. It's kind of spicy sauce cooked fish, and so it has all the spices from in already inside. Already inside. So you don't need to buy all these separate packed spices. So they're all in this bag. So it's really convenient. My mom also brought this kind of pre-made spices for 酸菜鱼, which is like a pickled fish. This is just spicy, but 酸菜鱼 has pickle inside, so it's kind of sour and spicy at the same time. And so they have also similar bags for hot pot. I've seen people making hot pots on YouTube, but why? Like every Chinese is using pre-made sauce for hot pot, and they put many spices and they have the sauce already in the bag. You just need to dilute it with water. That's all you need to do, and then your hot pot is ready. Why bother to make your own sauce? Even like if you go to a hot pot restaurant in China, they use the same thing. They never make their own, or they have a whole separate kitchen just to make these pre-made ones in a plastic bag, and they sell these as well in China. So when you want to eat hot pot, buy those pre-made sauce. Here are some of the tofu I have. You know, you can get fresh tofu from Asian supermarket. These are fresh, so they don't last for very long. But then you can also get this kind of dry tofu. This one is in the stick shape. So I don't know if you have any knowledge on how to make tofu, but it's pretty much soybean, and then they boil it. And this is the top layer of the skin. It's similar like milk. When you heat up milk, you get the top layer, kind of a really thin layer of skin. And they use that skin from soybean milk, and they dry it, and they lay it over, they dry it, and they make this kind of tofu skin. And you can make a salad out of it, or you can cook this with meat. and it's really convenient. Just hydrate it with water, and they just as good as fresh. Then you can use it immediately. Here, just tiny little amount. I already finished most of it. So this is also tofu skin, but this is in a whole sheet. Instead of making them like a stick, this is like a tofu skin sheet. And best thing you can get for Chinese hot pot if you're vegetarian. And you can also use these to roll it. So you hydrate it and then roll it and then make it, then braise this with soy sauce and vinegar and sugar. Then it tastes almost like meat as well. So here's another tofu skin, but this is a tofu skin knot, because it's similar to the other one, which is stick, but they make a knot of this. So you can cook this with meat. I also have a cooking video where I used this. But important thing is definitely rehydrate it and cook it longer, because in the inside of this knot, it's really hard to cook. It takes really long. If not, then you eat like a hard tofu. It's not cooked. And let me see. Oh yeah, I'm sure in your local supermarket you can get this pickle or any kind of pickle. And like this one, actually my mom brought it from China, and this is pickled mushrooms. And you can probably get pickled bok choy, pickled seaweed, and pickled cucumber. And these are really good, not just for eating congee, it's almost like a side dish, or you can add in soup and give it saltiness instead of using salt. And I like them a lot. Okay, so the last, actually I brought this is from Daiso, a Japanese shop, like €1, $1 shop from Japan, but it's all around the world. You can get in many countries. And this one, I've seen many people using it. So it's like a layer of paper when you cook soup, meat soup, chicken, pork, beef. You know they have lots of scum, like this blood and fat, and they're floating on top of the water. If you use a spoon, it takes ages. So you use this piece of paper, put on top for a few minutes, and take it away, and then the scum and blood is all attached to this piece of paper, and really quick you can have a really clear and clean soup. So that's everything what I have, and this is I'm kind of restoring them, so once I finish them I'll buy new, but I always keep these in my kitchen. It's just for my cooking, and I always use them, and it's really convenient and lasts forever. You can keep them, you buy them a lot. I guess soy sauce and vinegar are the two things that I buy the most frequently, as well as rice. So we eat this bag of rice, about 1 kilogram, about 2-3 weeks. And we don't eat rice that often already. Like my parents would buy a huge bag, literally the size like me. And then because they eat 3 meals rice a day, they need a lot of rice. For us, we just buy this kind of small bags. And all the starch, I guess the most important one is potato starch, and because you use for stir fry. But I don't use that often. Some people like to dilute it with water and put in the sauce. That makes the sauce thicker. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and give me a thumbs up, leave your comments below. If you want to see more videos like this one, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and thanks for watching.